This Fortune 500 company made over $34 billion last year. 60 years ago, they made something else. The CIA's secret mind control drugs. They never paid a price, but thousands of Americans did. In 1953, the CIA launched MKUltra, a classified program to develop mind control techniques against the Soviets. The answer came from America's most respected pharmaceutical companies and research institutions. These weren't shadowy black market dealers. These were household names, medical pioneers, trusted brands. Operation Midnight Climax became the program's most notorious testing ground. CIA officer George Hunter White established brothels in San Francisco, where unsuspecting men were drugged and observed through two-way mirrors. But what's less known is who manufactured those drugs, who profited from them, and how those same companies thrived in the decades that followed. When the CIA needed LSD for their experiments, they first turned to Sandoz Laboratories in Switzerland, where Dr. Albert Hofmann had first synthesized the compound. But international supply lines were risky for a classified program. In 1954, Eli Lilly and Company, an American pharmaceutical giant, solved the CIA's problem. Declassified documents reveal Lilly scientists developed the first process for manufacturing synthetic LSD in bulk quantities specifically for MKUltra. But Lilly wasn't alone. At least 44 universities, 15 pharmaceutical companies, and dozens of hospitals received CIA funding through elaborate shell companies and front organizations to conceal government involvement. While corporate scientists perfected the compounds in sterile labs, the testing was brutally unethical. In Operation Midnight Climax brothels, CIA agents watched as Americans suffered terrifying psychotic episodes from drugs manufactured by companies sworn to do no harm. Some victims jumped from windows. Others suffered permanent psychological damage. The exact number of casualties will never be known, because in 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered almost all MKUltra records destroyed. But the corporate contracts couldn't all be hidden. The Society for the Investigation of Human Ecology, the Geschichte Fund for Medical Research. These innocent-sounding organizations appeared to be funding legitimate scientific research. In reality, they were CIA fronts, channeling millions to companies and universities willing to ask no questions. Stanford, Cornell, Columbia, MIT, McGill. The nation's most prestigious research institutions took the money. Their work formed the foundation of a decades-long program of human experimentation that violated every principle of the Nuremberg Code established after Nazi medical atrocities. When the program was finally exposed in the 1970s Church Committee hearings, Americans were outraged at their government. But something curious happened. The corporate collaborators largely escaped public scrutiny. While the CIA faced congressional investigations, Eli Lilly continued its ascent to become one of the world's pharmaceutical giants. By 1982, they launched Prozac, revolutionizing mental health medication. The company that once secretly manufactured psychochemical weapons for the CIA was now openly selling mind-altering drugs to millions of Americans. This time with FDA approval and billion-dollar advertising campaigns. Today, Eli Lilly and Company is worth approximately $530 billion. In 2024 alone, they reported $34.1 billion in revenue. Their CEO makes over $20 million annually. They spend more on Washington lobbyists than they ever received from MKUltra. Not once in their corporate history have they acknowledged their role in manufacturing the compounds used to secretly dose American citizens without consent. Not once have they offered compensation to victims or their families. But here's what's truly chilling. Eli Lilly isn't an exception. Almost none of the 44 universities, hospitals, and pharmaceutical companies involved have ever publicly acknowledged their participation. Massachusetts General Hospital, consistently ranked among America's top 5 hospitals today, conducted drug experiments on patients without consent. Johns Hopkins University, which now receives over $3 billion annually in federal research funding, used CIA money to study unconscious psychological defense systems. Pfizer, which absorbed companies that participated in CIA drug research, is now a $100+ billion pharmaceutical giant. And these are just the names we know from the 20,000 pages that accidentally survived destruction. The documents that escape destruction reveal something corporate America doesn't want you to know. MKUltra wasn't just a government program. It was a public-private partnership. The same institutions we trust today with our health, our medications, our very minds, once violated that trust completely and faced zero consequences. The next time you see a pharmaceutical commercial promising relief, remember this: these companies have secrets their marketing departments will never disclose. The scientists who once manufactured CIA mind-control drugs didn't disappear. Their research was simply redirected. Operation Midnight Climax officially ended decades ago. But its corporate accomplices didn't just survive, they thrived. And they're counting on you to never ask what else they're not telling you.